What's going on, guys? Welcome to Inside the Horseshoe. My name is Matt, and today I'm going to be ranking my top 5 positions of need for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, before I do that, if you're new, if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate if you would click that subscribe button. Also, click the bell icon. That way, you're notified when I upload a video or when I go live. If you like the video, smack the like button. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you have a Twitter, make sure you follow me on Twitter at horseshoe_pod. There is a link in the description down below. So, the Colts, just like any other team, they have needs. They have positions they have to address. The Colts, they have multiple, but I'm going to rank the 5 that I feel are the most important, the ones they have to address this offseason. And we're going to start off with number 5. At number 5, I am going to go quarterback. Look, you have one quarterback on roster, Anthony Richardson. Joe Flacco, he's a free agent. He may retire. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that is a possibility. He is 40 years old, so there is that. But Sam Ehlinger, he's a free agent as well. So you need to bring in at least one quarterback, if not two. And you can do that whether it's in the draft or it's in free agency. Either way, to me, I'm okay with. I'd be okay with them bringing in two, if I'm going to be honest. If you do bring in two, I do feel like you need to draft a quarterback as well. Maybe a Riley Leonard. You can draft him, develop him as Richardson or the other quarterback is playing. And if Anthony Richardson doesn't work out, maybe Riley Leonard, after being under Shane Steichen for a year, can be the guy. I don't know. I do think he has talent. But nonetheless, I do think they need to add a quarterback. And I've seen a lot of Colts fans say, well, you don't want to bring in a guy that could beat Anthony Richardson and get the job. You don't want to do that. You want to hand Anthony Richardson the keys because if the other quarterback wins the job, you got to fire Chris Ballard, even though that should have happened in 2022. You got to fire Shane Steichen because they failed. And look, yeah, maybe they miscalculated with the 4th pick if Richardson is not the guy. But to be fair, who are they going to bring in? Will Levis? Malik Hooker? What were the options, my guy? Yeah, you could have traded with Chicago, but after seeing what Carolina gave up, I would not have traded up to number 1 for all that. I feel like that's a bit much. Now, granted, CJ Stroud is looking pretty good, but I don't think the Colts had anything that could match what the Panthers had. So, really, at number 4, who are you going to get? To me, I don't think it's a fireable offense if Richardson doesn't work out because I don't think any of the other quarterbacks would have worked out anyway. So if they bring in a guy like Justin Fields, Daniel Jones, and they win the job, you want to make sure you have the best players you can have in your locker room. You don't want to sit there and be like, well, there's this quarterback we want, and we know that if Richardson didn't win the job or Richardson got hurt, they can go in there and they really could help us win. But, we got to give the job to Richardson. So let's bring in Marcus Mariota. You can't do that. So number 5, I'm going quarterback. At number 4, I went linebacker. You got EJ Speed. He's under contract. He's not going to leave. I know some Colts fans want him to be gone. He's not going anywhere. He isn't. And I don't think he should either. He gets you a lot of tackles, misses a lot as well, but he does do a good job racking up tackles. He's a good player. No matter how you feel, he is a good player. I will say they need to bring in a guy that's better in coverage, someone that you can have be on a tight end and you're like, okay, we feel good about this. This tight end shouldn't have a big game against our linebacker or against the receiver, right? Depending on what packages and what plays are being called by the offense. And also, I want a guy that's more consistent in the tackles because, like I said, Zaire Franklin, he can get tackles. But Zaire Franklin also has missed a lot of tackles. So I want someone a little more consistent in that front. So in my opinion, personally, I think linebacker is number 4. Got to bring in 1, maybe 2, but I do think you got to at least bring in a linebacker. So at number 3, really I think 3, 2, and 1 are all interchangeable. But in my opinion, at number 3, I'm going to go safety. Look, I think Nick Cross, he played better than what I expected, but I still feel like safety is a big need. Julian Blackmon, he's a free agent. I don't know if he's going to come back or not. Either way, you got to bring in at least one safety. If Julian Blackmon does not come back, I would bring in two. I would draft a safety and I would sign a veteran as well. Like you have Holland, I believe, from Miami, who's going to be a free agent, and there's other guys as well. But I feel like you got to bring in a veteran for sure. But in the draft, you have guys like Starks and Xavier Watts. Like there's options in the draft that you can get in the first round or you can get in the second round. And you'll get a good player if you do it that way. Look, it's not just safety that's a big need. It's really the secondary. You need to bring in guys that are going to be good in coverage, good in the secondary. That way, the offense, when they're wanting to pass the football, they have a more difficult time doing it. So, in my opinion, at number 3, I'm going to go safety. You got to bring in at least one, if not two safeties this offseason. Preferably veteran and a rookie, but you got to at least bring in a veteran. And I do think this is the year we finally address it. Chris Ballard didn't do it last year. He brought Blackmon back, but that was really about it. This, I think, is going to be the offseason where we finally see him do that. So at number 3, I got safety. Number 2, I had a really tough time deciding what was going to be 1 and what was going to be 2. I decided at number 2 to go tight end. And I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me, and that's perfectly fine. I'm okay with you guys disagreeing with me. I really am. I think you guys know that. I'm going to say I think they should do this because I truly feel like that is the best thing they should do, and people will be like, what are you talking about? And then sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong. But I do think tight end is number 2. And really, when you look at the offense, that last piece to me is tight end. Tight end is that final piece. Mo Alley Cox, he's gone. Kylan Granson, I think, will probably be back. But even then, I think you still need to bring in a tight end, whether that's in the draft. And, I mean, there's multiple guys in the draft. I mean, just 2 names on the top of my head. Tyler Warren, which a lot of Colts fans want. A lot of Colts fans, they really want Tyler Warren. And I understand that. I think he's a very good player. And I would be very happy if he ended up being drafted. But the other, and I would be perfectly happy with him too, is Harold Fannin Jr. I'd be perfectly fine with Harold Fannin Jr. I think he could do a lot for this offense, and I think he could be a valuable piece for Anthony Richardson. Both those guys would be the number 1 tight end on the roster. Absolutely, no doubt about it. But I mean, you could also trade for a Michael Mayer. I'd be very happy with a Michael Mayer trade, and honestly, you don't have to give up a whole lot for him. And he's on his rookie deal. So I think Michael Mayer would be great. I made that video 2 days ago. I'd be very happy with him. But again, I like our weapons for the most part. Michael Pittman Jr., he played with a broken back. He had a back injury. He played pretty well. Didn't have a great year, but again, his back, it was hurt. But you had him. You have Josh Downs. You have Alec Pierce. And hopefully, A.D. Mitchell can take that step forward and we can see A.D. Mitchell become what Reggie Wayne is wanting him to be. Tight end is a need. We have a bottom 5 group right now. And I do think it's going to be addressed. I just don't think it's as big of a need as my number 1. My number 1 is going to be cornerback. I love Kenny Moore. I think Kenny Moore is going to be great next season. I think Kenny Moore is going to have a fantastic season next season. I really do. Jalen Jones is solid. I don't hate Jalen Jones. I think he's pretty solid. And I like Juju Brents. When Juju Brents plays, he's very good. But Juju Brents can't stay healthy. He doesn't get a boo-boo oh no, he has a scratch on his leg, he's out for the game. It's not like that. It's oh yeah, he broke his nose, out for a month. Oh, he tore his ACL, out for the year. He broke his hand, something like that. He has pretty significant injuries, and he's had a lot, and that was a concern, for a lot of people. when he was in college. Injuries were definitely a concern, and so far it's looking like those concerns are validated. But when he plays, he's very good. But because of him not consistently staying healthy and instead consistently being injured, we need to address the secondary. More specifically, we need to address the cornerback room. It's the biggest need, in my opinion. We need a true lockdown corner that is going to stay healthy, hopefully, stay healthy for most, if not the entire season. So I have corner as my number one. And look, if you're at 14 and Will Johnson is right there and available, pick up the phone, Chris Ballard. Do not call Tyler Warren. Call Will Johnson and congratulate him and welcome him to Indianapolis. Will Johnson is my number one player. He's a fantastic corner, and I think personally he would be a great fit for our defense. And I think he's a type of guy that I would feel confident going up against the best receivers that will be on our schedule. So I have cornerback at number one. Again, 1, 2, and 3, they're very close. So you can flip them any way you want, and I wouldn't be upset. I won't be upset if they go tight end with their first round pick or safety or corner. They're big needs. I'll be happy. So that's going to do it, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you're new, if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it if you would click that subscribe button. Also, click the bell icon so you're notified when I upload a video or when I go live. If you like the video, smack the like button. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. And if you have a Twitter, make sure you follow me on Twitter at horseshoe_pod. There is a link in the description down below. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Matt, Bleed Blue. We will see you next time. Bye. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you watch one of these other 2 videos. They're cool. Also, if you're new, please click the subscribe button as well as the bell icon. I greatly appreciate your support.